Emma Carter lifted her champagne glass high, letting the bubbles catch the amber light of the Manhattan lounge. Freedom tasted better than she ever imagined. After 6 suffocating years with Derek, 3 of them married, she was finally her own person again. The divorce papers had been signed exactly 4 weeks ago, and tonight she was celebrating with her 2 closest friends. 2 new beginnings, Rachel announced, her eyes sparkling with mischief. She had been Emma's college roommate and had witnessed every painful moment of the relationship. And 2, never settling for less than you deserve. 2, actually living your life instead of walking on eggshells, Jennifer added. She worked with Emma at the boutique design firm where Emma had been struggling to establish herself. Both friends had watched Emma shrink under Derek's constant criticism. Emma clinked glasses with them, feeling lighter than she had in years. She had chosen her outfit carefully tonight. The emerald green dress hugged her curves in a way that made her feel powerful. Derek had always hated when she wore anything that drew attention. He claimed it made her look desperate for validation. Now she could wear whatever she wanted. The lounge was elegant without being pretentious, filled with young professionals unwinding after long workdays. Soft jazz played in the background, and the bartender was mixing drinks with practiced flair. Emma felt like she was finally part of the world again instead of watching it pass by from behind Derek's restrictions. "You look amazing tonight," Rachel said, squeezing her hand. "That dress is absolutely perfect on you." Derek would have hated it. Emma replied with a satisfied smile. "Exactly why it's perfect." Jennifer laughed. Emma was about to order another round when the door opened and her stomach dropped. Derek walked in with his new girlfriend Brittany hanging on his arm. She was everything Derek had tried to mold Emma into but never succeeded. Young, blonde, agreeable, dressed in clothing Derek had probably selected himself. "No," Emma whispered, her hands suddenly trembling. "Not tonight." Rachel followed her gaze and cursed under her breath. "What is he doing here? This place is nowhere near his usual spots." "He probably tracked my credit card," Emma said, her throat tightening. Derek had always been obsessive about knowing where she was. Even after the divorce, he seemed to enjoy showing up wherever she went, especially with Brittany in tow. It was his way of proving he had moved on while making sure Emma never could. Derek's eyes found hers across the room. The smirk that spread across his face was all too familiar. It was the same expression he wore whenever he was about to make her uncomfortable in public. He said something to Brittany, then started walking directly toward Emma's table. "We can leave," Jennifer offered quickly. "Right now?" But Emma was tired of running. She had spent 6 years running, accommodating, shrinking herself to avoid Derek's moods. She refused to let him ruin this night too. Her eyes desperately scanned the lounge, looking for any possible escape route. That's when she saw him. A man sat alone at a corner table near the window, scrolling through his phone with a slight frown of concentration. He was breathtaking in an effortless way. Dark hair perfectly styled, strong jawline, wearing a charcoal suit that probably cost more than Emma's monthly rent. Everything about him screamed power and money. From his Italian leather shoes to the expensive watch on his wrist, Emma didn't think. She simply acted on pure instinct. She walked quickly across the lounge, her heart pounding so hard she thought it might burst from her chest. The man looked up just as she reached his table, his eyes widening in surprise as Emma slid smoothly into his lap. "Please," she whispered urgently, close enough to smell his cologne. It was cedar and spice, expensive and intoxicating. "My ex is coming over here. Just pretend we're together, please." Up close, he was even more attractive. His eyes were a striking shade of blue-gray, like storm clouds over the ocean. There was intelligence there, and curiosity, and something else she couldn't quite identify. For a moment, he just stared at her, clearly processing this bizarre situation. Then Derek's voice cut through the moment. "Emma, what an unexpected surprise." The stranger's arm came around her waist, strong and sure. His hand settled on her hip with possessive confidence. Emma felt heat spread through her body at the contact. "Can I help you?" The man's voice was deep and smooth, with an edge that suggested he wasn't someone to be trifled with. "I'm just saying hello to my ex-wife," Derek replied, but there was uncertainty in his voice now. He clearly hadn't expected to find Emma with someone like this. "Emma, you didn't mention you were seeing anyone. Why would I?" Emma found her courage with the stranger's arm around her. "We're divorced, Derek. I don't owe you explanations about my personal life. This is moving pretty fast, Derek sneered, trying to regain control of the situation. What's it been? A month? Guess you were already looking during our marriage. The stranger's hand tightened slightly on Emma's waist. Then he did something completely unexpected. He cupped her face with his free hand, tilted her chin up, and kissed her. The world stopped. His lips were firm but gentle, moving against hers with a confidence that made her knees weak. What started as a performance quickly became something else entirely. Emma's hands found their way to his shoulders, her fingers curling into the expensive fabric of his jacket. The kiss deepened, his tongue teasing her bottom lip in a way that made electricity shoot through her entire body. She forgot where she was. Forgot Derek was watching. Forgot everything except the sensation of this stranger's mouth on hers and the way he held her like she was precious. When they finally broke apart, both breathing heavily, Emma's mind was completely blank. The stranger's eyes were dark with something that looked like surprise mixed with desire. "I think your ex just left," he murmured. His thumb brushing across her cheek, Emma turned to see Derek retreating toward the door. Brittany tottering after him on her high heels. He looked furious and humiliated. Emma should have felt triumphant, but all she could focus on was the man whose lap she was still sitting in. "I am so sorry," she finally managed, her voice shaky. "That was completely inappropriate. I just panicked and you were the first person I saw, or the most attractive person I saw, and I thought—" She was rambling now, unable to stop herself. "Cole," he interrupted with an amused smile. "Cole Harrison. And that was the most interesting thing that's happened to me all month." "Emma Carter," she replied, finally sliding off his lap with cheeks burning. Her legs felt unsteady. "I really should apologize properly." "That was insane. Don't apologize." Cole gestured to the chair across from him. "Sit with me for a minute. Properly this time. Let me buy you a drink, and you can tell me about the ex-husband who clearly doesn't know what he lost." Emma hesitated, glancing back at her friends. Rachel gave her an enthusiastic thumbs up, while Jennifer mouthed, "Oh my God," with wide eyes. They were clearly giving her their blessing to stay. She sat down, and Cole signaled the waiter over. "Whatever the lady wants," he said, his eyes never leaving Emma's face. "Martini," Emma said, still trying to calm her racing heart. "Extra dry. Good choice." Cole ordered the same for himself. "So, Emma Carter, tell me about yourself. What drives a woman to sit in a stranger's lap in the middle of an upscale lounge?" "Desperation," Emma admitted with a shaky laugh. "Derek, my ex, he has this way of making every situation uncomfortable. He loves having power over people, especially me. I spent 6 years trying to be what he wanted, and I just couldn't do it anymore." "6 years is a long time to lose yourself," Cole said softly. There was understanding in his eyes, not judgment. Their drinks arrived, and Emma took a grateful sip. The alcohol helped steady her nerves. "I don't usually do things like this. I'm not the spontaneous sit-and-ran men type." "Shame," Cole replied with a slight smile. "It suited you." Emma felt heat creep up her neck. "You're not making this less embarrassing." "I'm not trying to." Cole leaned forward slightly. "Emma, I've sat in this lounge every Thursday night for the past year. I've had boring conversations with business associates, fended off unwanted advances, and generally wished I was somewhere else. Tonight, a beautiful woman sat in my lap and asked me to be her fake boyfriend. It's the highlight of my entire year." "Your year must be pretty boring then," Emma joked. But she was smiling now. It was Cole agreed. "Until about 10 minutes ago. They talked for hours." Emma learned that Cole owned Harrison Properties, a commercial real estate empire his grandfather had started. He had taken over 5 years ago when his grandfather retired, and had expanded the business into luxury hotels and high-end residential developments. He was divorced too, had been for 3 years. His ex-wife Amanda had married him for his money and left when she found someone with even more. "Sounds like we both have experience with people who saw us as possessions," Emma observed. "Unfortunately common in my circles," Cole said. "Everyone wants something. Access, money, connections. It gets exhausting trying to figure out who actually cares about you versus who cares about what you can do for them." Emma told him about her interior design business. How she had always dreamed of creating beautiful spaces, but Derek had constantly undermined her confidence. He said her work was hobby quality, that she would never make it professionally. She had almost believed him. "Do you have a portfolio?" Cole asked, genuine interest in his voice. On my phone, Emma admitted. Why? Show me. Emma pulled up her design portfolio, watching nervously as Cole scrolled through her work. She had done several residential projects, a few small commercial spaces. Nothing major, but she was proud of each one. These are incredible, Cole said after a long moment. Emma, this isn't hobby quality. This is extraordinary. It's the way you use light and texture, how you balance functionality with beauty. You have real talent. Emma felt tears prick her eyes. It had been so long since someone believed in her work. Thank you, she whispered. I mean it. Cole handed back her phone. You should be doing major projects. Hotels, corporate offices, high-end residential towers. I don't have those kinds of connections, Emma said, or the capital to take on big projects. Cole looked at her thoughtfully. What if you did? Before Emma could respond, Rachel appeared at their table. Sorry to interrupt, but Jen and I are heading out. Emma, you good? Emma glanced at the time on her phone and gasped. It was past midnight. They had been talking for over 3 hours. I didn't realize how late it was. Time flies, Cole said, standing as Rachel left. Let me call you a car. I can take the subway, Emma protested. Not at this hour. Let me do this. Cole pulled out his phone and within minutes, a black town car pulled up outside. They walked out together. And Emma felt the night air cool against her flushed cheeks. At the car, Cole handed her a business card. Call me, he said. Not just for business, though I'd love to discuss that too. Call me because I want to see you again. Emma took the card, her fingers brushing against his. The connection was still there, that electric current that had sparked the moment she sat in his lap. I don't usually do this, she said again. And maybe it's time to start, Cole replied. He opened the car door for her. Good night, Emma Carter. Good night, Cole Harrison. As the car pulled away, Emma looked back to see Cole still standing on the sidewalk, watching her leave. She glanced down at the business card in her hand. Cole Harrison, CEO Harrison Properties. A direct phone number was written on the back in elegant handwriting. Emma knew she should focus on herself, on rebuilding her life and her business. Getting involved with someone new, especially someone as wealthy and complicated as Cole clearly was, seemed like a terrible idea. But as she touched her lips, still tingling from that incredible kiss, she knew she was already in trouble. She was absolutely going to call him. Emma spent the entire weekend thinking about Cole Harrison. She told herself it was ridiculous, that she was acting like a teenager with a crush. But every time she closed her eyes, she remembered that kiss. The way his hand felt on her waist, the intensity in his storm gray eyes. By Monday morning, she still hadn't called him. The business card sat on her nightstand, taunting her every time she walked past it. She had picked it up a dozen times only to set it back down. What would she even say? Thanks for the fake boyfriend. Routine? Want to grab coffee and discuss why I have terrible taste in men? Emma threw herself into work instead. She had a major presentation coming up on Wednesday with a group of potential investors. Her small interior design firm desperately needed capital to expand. She had been operating on shoestring budgets for too long, taking whatever small projects she could get. This investment could change everything. She spent Monday and Tuesday perfecting her pitch, rehearsing until she could recite it in her sleep. Jennifer helped her polish the financial projections while Rachel gave feedback on her presentation style. By Wednesday morning, Emma felt as ready as she would ever be. The investment firm's office was in a gleaming skyscraper in Midtown. Emma arrived 15 minutes early, her portfolio case clutched tightly in her hand. She wore a navy blue pantsuit that made her feel professional and confident. The receptionist directed her to a conference room on the 40th floor. Emma set up her materials, connecting her laptop to the presentation screen. Her hands were steady despite the nerves dancing in her stomach. This was her moment. Everything she had worked for came down to the next hour. The door opened, and Emma turned with her brightest professional smile. Then her heart stopped. Cole Harrison walked into the conference room, looking impossibly handsome in a slate gray suit. His eyes widened the moment he saw her, surprise and something that looked like delight flashing across his face. "Miss Carter?" he said smoothly, extending his hand. His eyes sparkled with barely contained amusement. What a pleasant surprise. Emma shook his hand, feeling that same electric jolt. "Mr. Harrison, I had no idea you would be part of the investment panel." "Life is full of unexpected coincidences," Cole replied. And there was definite mischief in his voice now. 3 other investors filed in behind him. There was Margaret Sullivan, a venture capitalist in her 50s with sharp eyes and an expensive suit. Thomas Chen, a younger investor who looked barely 30. And Patricia Blackwell, a distinguished woman with silver hair who Emma recognized from business magazines. They all took their seats, with Cole at the head of the table. Emma tried to ignore how his presence seemed to fill the entire room. She needed to focus. This was business, not personal. "Whenever you're ready, Miss Carter," Margaret said kindly. Emma launched into her presentation. She showed examples of her work, explained her business model, outlined her growth strategy. She had researched market trends, identified target demographics, prepared detailed financial projections. As she spoke, her confidence grew. This was what she was good at. This was her passion. Cole asked several questions, all of them intelligent and probing. He wanted to know about her experience with large-scale projects, her relationships with suppliers, her plans for hiring additional staff. Emma answered each question honestly, acknowledging her limitations while emphasizing her potential. "Your residential work is impressive," Patricia observed. "But you have limited experience with commercial projects. Hotels, office buildings, retail spaces. Those require different skills and much larger budgets." "I understand that," Emma replied, "which is why I'm seeking not just investment capital, but also mentorship and connections. I know I have the talent and the vision. I need the opportunity to prove it on a larger stage." "Confidence is important," Cole said, leaning back in his chair, "but so is experience. What makes you think you can make the jump from small residential projects to major commercial work?" Emma met his eyes directly, "Because I understand that great design is about understanding how people interact with spaces. Whether it's a home or a hotel, the principles are the same. Create beauty, maximize functionality, make people feel something when they walk through the door. I can do that on any scale." Cole's lips twitched with what might have been a smile. Fair point. The presentation lasted 90 minutes. When it ended, the investors thanked her and said they would be in touch within a week. Emma packed up her materials, trying not to feel deflated. She thought it had gone well, but with investors, you never really knew. Cole was the last to leave. He lingered as the others filed out, pretending to check something on his phone. "That was impressive," he said once they were alone. "You're talented, Emma. Really talented." "Thank you," Emma replied, unsure how to navigate this situation. "I didn't know you were an investor. You said you were in real estate." "I am. Invest in businesses that align with my properties. Interior design firms, furniture companies, art dealers." Cole moved closer. "Emma, I want to invest in your company. The terms will be generous, but..." Emma could hear the unspoken word hanging in the air. No buts. Cole smiled. "This is a good investment. Your work speaks for itself. I'd be foolish to pass on this opportunity." Emma studied his face, looking for any sign of ulterior motives. "This won't be weird, given what happened last week?" "Only if we make it weird," Cole said, "though I have to admit, I'm hoping you'll let me take you to dinner. Separate from business. It's 2 people who enjoy talking to each other." Emma's heart raced. Every rational part of her brain screamed that this was a bad idea. Mixing business with personal feelings was a recipe for disaster. But another part of her, the part that had been dormant during her marriage to Derek, desperately wanted to say yes. "One dinner," she agreed. "But we keep business and personal completely separate." Deal. Cole's smile was devastating. "How about Friday night? I know an excellent Italian place." "Friday works," Emma said, trying to sound casual despite the butterflies rioting in her stomach. Over the next 2 weeks, Emma found herself spending an increasing amount of time with Cole. The investment was finalized quickly, with terms even more generous than she had hoped. Cole also offered her a major project redesigning the lobby and guest rooms of the Harrison Grand Hotel, his flagship property downtown. Their professional relationship was impeccable. Cole was demanding but fair, pushing Emma to think bigger while respecting her creative vision. He introduced her to suppliers and contractors, opened doors that would have remained closed to her otherwise. Their personal relationship was more complicated. They had dinner Friday night, which turned into drinks on Saturday, which turned into brunch on Sunday. Cole was funny and charming, but also surprisingly vulnerable. He told her about the pressure of running his family's empire, the loneliness of never knowing who genuinely cared about him versus his money. Emma shared her own fears about rebuilding her life after Derek, how she sometimes still heard his critical voice in her head, telling her she wasn't good enough. Cole listened without judgment, his hand covering hers across the table. "You're extraordinary," he told her. "Don't let anyone, including yourself, convince you otherwise." One Thursday afternoon, Emma was at the Harrison Grand Hotel for a site inspection. She needed to see the spaces in person before finalizing her designs. Cole had insisted on accompanying her, saying he wanted to understand her vision firsthand. They were inspecting the 10th floor guest rooms. When they decided to take the elevator to the lobby level, Emma pressed the button, and they stepped inside together. The doors closed, and the elevator began its descent. Then everything stopped. The lights flickered once, twice, then went completely dark.
What happened?
Emma asked, her voice tight. "Power outage," Cole replied calmly. She heard him moving. Then the glow of his phone flashlight illuminated the small space. "Looks like we're stuck for a bit." Emma's breathing quickened. The elevator suddenly felt much smaller, the walls pressing in. She wasn't claustrophobic exactly, but confined spaces made her anxious. "Hey," Cole said softly, moving closer. "Look at me. You're okay." "We're okay." Emma focused on his face, using it as an anchor. "How long do you think we'll be stuck?" "Hard to say. Could be 10 minutes, could be longer." Cole pressed the emergency call button. After a brief conversation with building security, he turned back to Emma. "There's a power outage affecting the whole block. They're working on it, but it might be 30 minutes or more." 30 minutes trapped in a dark elevator. Emma's chest tightened. She slid down to sit on the floor, wrapping her arms around her knees. Cole sat beside her, close enough that their shoulders touched. The contact was comforting. "Talk to me," he said. "Tell me about your dream project. If money and time weren't factors, what would you design?" Emma latched onto the distraction. "A boutique hotel," she said. "Somewhere coastal, maybe California or the Carolinas. 20 rooms maximum, each one completely unique. I'd blend local materials with contemporary design, create spaces that feel both luxurious and intimate."
Oh.
"That sounds incredible," Cole said. "What else?" They talked for what felt like hours, but was probably only 20 minutes. Cole told her about his own dreams of expanding into sustainable development, creating properties that were both beautiful and environmentally responsible. Emma shared her desire to mentor young designers to help others avoid the mistakes she had made. "I wasted so much time with Derek," Emma admitted in the darkness. 6 years trying to be someone I wasn't. Sometimes I'm angry at myself for staying so long." "Don't be," Cole said gently. "We all do the best we can with what we know at the time. You got out. You're rebuilding. That takes courage." Emma turned to look at him in the dim glow of the phone light. "You're being very understanding about all my baggage." "We all have baggage," Cole replied. "Mine is just differently labeled." Before Emma could respond, the lights flickered back on. The elevator lurched and resumed its descent. Within seconds, the doors opened onto the lobby. They stepped out together, both blinking in the sudden brightness. Emma felt shaky, though she wasn't sure if it was from the confined space or from the intimacy of their conversation. "You okay?" Cole asked, his hand on the small of her back. Emma said, "Thanks for keeping me distracted." "Anytime." Cole's eyes were warm. "Emma, I know we said we'd keep things separate, business and personal. But I need you to know something. I'm falling for you. Have been, since the moment you sat in my lap and turned my whole world upside down." Emma's breath caught. "Cole, I don't know if I'm ready." "I'm not asking you to be ready," he said. "I'm just asking you to be honest with me. And with yourself. Do you feel this too?" Emma wanted to lie, to protect herself. But she couldn't. "Yes," she whispered. "I feel it too. And it terrifies me." "Me too," Cole admitted with a slight smile. "But maybe we can be terrified together." Before Emma could respond, her phone buzzed. It was a text from Jennifer with a link to a local news site. The headline made her stomach drop. Derek Grant arrested for embezzlement. Emma's ex-husband had apparently been stealing from his employer for years, funneling money into offshore accounts. The investigation had just gone public. "What is it?" Cole asked, seeing her expression. Emma showed him the article. "This is why he was so controlling about money during our marriage," she realized. "He didn't want me looking too closely at our finances. I thought he was just being possessive, but he was hiding crimes. You're well rid of him, Cole said firmly. This isn't on you, Emma. But Emma felt shaken. She had lived with Derek for 6 years and never suspected anything. What did that say about her judgment? How could she trust herself to recognize a good relationship when she had been so blind before? Cole seemed to sense her spiraling thoughts. Don't, he said. Don't let him take up any more space in your head. You're free of him. Focus on that. Emma nodded, but doubt had taken root. Over the next few days, she found herself pulling back from Cole. She was shorter in their text conversations, made excuses to avoid seeing him outside of work meetings. She told herself she was being smart, protecting herself. In reality, she was scared. Scared of getting hurt again. Scared of making another mistake. Scared that what she felt for Cole was real and powerful and could destroy her if it fell apart. The situation came to a head at Cole's annual charity gala 2 weeks later. It was a massive event at the Harrison Grand Hotel, attended by hundreds of New York's elite. Cole had invited Emma as his date, and after some hesitation, she had agreed. She wore a midnight blue gown that made her feel like a princess. Jennifer had helped her with hair and makeup, and when Emma looked in the mirror, she barely recognized herself. She looked confident, sophisticated, happy. Cole's reaction when he picked her up confirmed it. He actually stopped mid-step when she opened the door, his eyes widening. Emma, he breathed. You're stunning. The gala was magnificent. The ballroom Emma had helped redesign glowed with candlelight and flowers. A live orchestra played while guests mingled and danced. Cole introduced Emma to countless people, always with pride in his voice. He never treated her like arm candy or an accessory. He introduced her as a talented designer, asked her opinions, made sure she felt valued. Emma was actually enjoying herself when she saw Derek across the room. He was supposed to be. He's in jail awaiting trial. How is he here? As if reading her mind, Cole leaned close. He made bail this morning, he said quietly. One of his lawyers is a donor. I couldn't ban him without making a scene. Derek looked terrible. His suit was rumpled, his face drawn, but his eyes were as cold and calculating as ever. When he spotted Emma, his expression twisted into something ugly. He started walking toward them, weaving slightly. Emma realized with horror that he was drunk. Well, well, Derek sneered as he reached them. If it isn't my darling ex-wife and her sugar daddy, how much is he paying you, Emma? Must be a lot for you to spread your legs so quick after our divorce. Emma felt like she had been slapped. Around them, conversation stopped as people turned to watch the scene unfolding. Derek, leave, she said, trying to keep her voice steady. Why should I? Derek's voice rose. You're here parading around like some kind of prize, but we both know the truth. You're nothing without a man taking care of you. You were nothing when I met you, and you're nothing now, except a gold digging. That's enough. Cole's voice cut through Derek's rant like steel. Security. But Derek wasn't done. She's using you, he told Cole, just like she used me. She'll take everything you have, and then move on to the next rich idiot stupid enough to fall for her act. Something in Emma snapped. 6 years of suppressed anger, 6 years of being diminished and controlled and made to feel small, erupted all at once. The only person who used anyone was you, Emma said, her voice shaking with fury. You used me to feel powerful because you're actually weak and insecure. You controlled every aspect of my life because you were terrified I'd realize I was better off without you. And you know what, Derek? I am better off. I'm happier, more successful, and more myself than I ever was with you. Tears streamed down her face, but she didn't care. You tried to destroy my confidence because you were jealous of my talent. You stole money and hid crimes and made me doubt my own sanity. But I'm done letting you have any power over me. You're a pathetic criminal, abusive man, and I thank God every single day that I finally got away from you. Security guards appeared, taking Derek by the arms. He struggled briefly, still shouting insults, but they dragged him toward the exit. The entire ballroom watched in stunned silence. Emma stood there shaking, mascara probably running down her face, her chest heaving. She had just made a scene at New York's most prestigious charity gala. Cole's reputation could be damaged by association. She had ruined everything. I'm so sorry, she whispered to Cole. I just destroyed your event. I should go. But Cole took her face gently in both hands, wiping away her tears with his thumbs. You have nothing to apologize for, he said firmly. Emma, you were magnificent. Strong and brave and absolutely magnificent. Then, in front of hundreds of watching guests, Cole kissed her. It was tender and claiming all at once. A public declaration that he chose her, that he stood with her. When they broke apart, the ballroom erupted in applause. Let's get you somewhere quiet, Cole murmured. Keeping his arm around her, he led her to a private office off the main ballroom. Emma sank into a chair, emotionally exhausted. Cole knelt in front of her, holding her hands. I love you, he said simply. I know it's fast and probably terrible timing, but I love you, Emma Carter. I love your talent and your strength and your kindness. I love how you laugh and how you see beauty in everything. I love who you are. Emma stared at him, tears flowing freely now. I love you too, she admitted. I've been so scared to say it, so scared to feel it, but I do. I love you, Cole. And stop fighting it, Cole urged. Stop letting fear and Derek in the past control your future. I'm not going anywhere, Emma. I'm here for as long as you'll have me. Emma pulled him close, holding him like he was her anchor in a storm. I'm broken, she whispered. Derek damaged something in me. I don't know if I can be what you need. You're not broken, Cole said fiercely. You're healing. And I don't need you to be anything except yourself. Let me love you while you figure out how to love yourself again. They stayed like that for a long time, wrapped in each other, while the gala continued outside. Emma felt something shift inside her, some tightly wound knot of fear beginning to loosen. Maybe she could do this? Maybe she could let herself be loved. When they finally emerged, the gala was winding down. Emma's friends Jennifer and Rachel rushed over, having seen the confrontation from across the room. Are you okay? Rachel demanded, pulling Emma into a hug. I think so, Emma said, and for the first time in a long time, she actually meant it. The weeks following the gala should have been perfect. Emma's business was thriving. The hotel project was ahead of schedule. And she was in a relationship with a man who loved her. But Derek's public humiliation had reopened old wounds Emma thought had healed. She found herself hyper-vigilant, waiting for the other shoe to drop, for Cole to reveal he was just like Derek underneath the charm. She started picking fights over nothing. When Cole mentioned having lunch with a female colleague, Emma accused him of being secretive. When he suggested she hire an assistant to handle her growing workload, she claimed he was trying to control her business. Every kind gesture felt like manipulation. Every compliment felt like a precursor to criticism. Cole was patient at first, understanding that Emma was processing trauma. But after 3 weeks of constant conflict, his patience was wearing thin. It came to a head on a rainy Tuesday evening. They were at Cole's penthouse apartment, supposedly having a quiet dinner together. Emma had arrived already irritated because Cole had rescheduled their afternoon coffee date for an emergency business call. I don't understand why you're upset, Cole said, clearly frustrated. I told you I had an unavoidable call with investors in Singapore. The time difference meant it had to be this afternoon. You always have something unavoidable, Emma snapped. Your business, your meetings, your schedule. Everything revolves around what you need. That's not fair, Cole replied. I've rearranged my calendar dozens of times for you. Just last week, I flew back early from Boston so we could attend your friend's birthday party. Because you wanted to look like the perfect boyfriend, Emma shot back. Knowing, even as she said it, that she was being unreasonable. Cole set down his fork carefully. What is this really about, Emma? Maybe it's about you always thinking you know what's best, Emma continued, her voice rising. You convinced me to hire that expensive web designer. You keep suggesting changes to my business model. You're always pushing. I'm trying to help you grow, Cole said, his own frustration showing now. You have incredible potential, but you're afraid to reach for it. I'm just trying to support you by controlling my decisions. By believing in you, Cole countered, something you apparently can't do for yourself. The words hit Emma like a physical blow. Screw you, she said, grabbing her purse. Emma, wait. Cole stood, but she was already heading for the door. We need to talk about this. There's nothing to talk about, Emma said, tears threatening. This isn't working. She left before Cole could respond, taking the stairs instead of waiting for the elevator. She didn't want to risk him following her. By the time she reached the street, rain was pouring down, soaking through her jacket within seconds. She didn't care. Emma walked 4 blocks, her mind churning. She knew she was sabotaging the relationship. She knew Cole hadn't done anything wrong. But knowing and stopping were two different things. Every time they got close, every time she felt truly happy, panic set in. What if he left? What if he hurt her? What if she lost herself again? Better to push him away first. Better to end it on her terms. Over the next few days, Emma threw herself into work, avoiding Cole's calls and texts. She communicated only through email about business matters, keeping everything cold and professional. Jennifer and Rachel tried to talk sense into her, but Emma shut them down. "You're self-destructing, Jennifer," said bluntly during an impromptu intervention at Emma's apartment. "Cole is the best thing that's happened to you, and you're destroying it because you're scared." "I'm not scared," Emma lied. "I'm being realistic. Cole and I want different things. We're from different worlds. It would never work long-term." "It's Derek talking," Rachel said gently. "That's the voice he put in your head, telling you you're not good enough. But it's not true, Emma. Cole loves you. Really, genuinely loves you. And you love him. Don't throw that away." But Emma couldn't hear it. The fear was too loud, drowning out everything else. A week after their fight, Cole showed up at Emma's office unannounced. He looked tired, with dark circles under his eyes like he hadn't been sleeping well. Emma's heart twisted at the sight. "We need to talk," he said, closing the door behind him. "Cole, I'm working." "I know what you're doing," Cole interrupted. "You're pushing me away because you're terrified. Every time we get close, you start a fight. Every time things are good, you find something to be angry about. And I understand why, Emma, I really do. Derek did a number on you, but I'm not Derek." "I know you're not," Emma said quietly. "Do you?" Cole challenged. "Because you keep treating me like I am. You keep waiting for me to turn into him. But I've given you no reason not to trust me, Emma, none. I've been patient and understanding and supportive. But I can't keep proving myself over and over. At some point, you have to decide if you trust me or not." Emma felt tears welling up. "What if I can't?" Cole's expression softened with sadness. "Then I think we need to take a step back. Not because I want to, but because this isn't healthy for either of us. I love you, Emma. I'm in love with you. But love isn't enough if there's no trust." "So you're breaking up with me?" Emma said, her voice breaking. "I'm asking you to figure out what you really want," Cole replied. "Do you want this relationship? Do you want to work through your fears and build something real with me? Or are you going to keep sabotaging us until there's nothing left?" "I don't know," Emma whispered honestly. Cole nodded, pain clear on his face. "Then maybe you need some time to figure it out." He pulled a folder from his briefcase. "This is the final payment for the hotel project. You did incredible work, Emma, beyond my expectations. I've also arranged for introductions to 3 other hotel chains that are looking for designers. Your career is going to take off, with or without my involvement. Cole, please." "I'm not trying to hurt you," Cole said gently. "I'm trying to love you in a way that's healthy for both of us. And right now, that means giving you space." He moved toward the door, then paused. "For what it's worth, I think you're brave and talented and deserving of every good thing. I hope someday you believe that too." And he was gone, leaving Emma alone with her fears and regrets. The next 2 weeks were the longest of Emma's life. She completed the hotel project, receiving rave reviews from everyone except the one person whose opinion mattered most. Cole had left for Paris to oversee the opening of a new Harrison Properties location there. He hadn't told her himself. She learned it from his assistant when she tried to call. Emma went through the motions of her days feeling hollow. Work continued. Her business grew. On paper, everything was perfect. But she felt like she was missing a vital piece of herself. "You look terrible," Rachel said bluntly when she stopped by Emma's apartment one evening. "Have you eaten today?" "I'm fine," Emma replied automatically. "You're not fine. You're miserable." Rachel sat beside her on the couch. "Emma, what are you so afraid of?" "Getting hurt again," Emma admitted. "Losing myself again. I spent 6 years with Derek, becoming smaller and smaller. What if that happens with Cole?" "Cole has only ever made you bigger," Rachel pointed out. "He's supported every dream, celebrated every success. He's never tried to control you or diminish you. The only person making you smaller right now is you." The words hit Emma like cold water. Rachel was right. Cole had never been anything but supportive. He challenged her to grow, yes, but always with respect and encouragement. The voice telling her she wasn't good enough, that she would fail, that she couldn't trust him. That wasn't Cole's voice. It was Derek's, and she had let it control her. "I'm an idiot," Emma whispered.
Yes.
Rachel agreed. "But a fixable idiot. The question is, what are you going to do about it?" Emma grabbed her laptop, pulling up Cole's company website. His assistant had mentioned Paris. She found information about the new Harrison Grand Paris location, opening with a massive gala that Saturday night. 3 days away. "I need to go to Paris," Emma said, her heart starting to race. "Then go," Rachel urged. "Go get your man back." Emma checked flights, her stomach dropping at the prices. A last-minute ticket to Paris would cost nearly $4,000, money she didn't really have to spare. But when she thought about losing Cole forever, the money didn't matter. She booked the flight. The next 72 hours were a blur. Emma finished up urgent work projects, arranged coverage for meetings, and packed a bag. Jennifer helped her pick out a dress for the gala, a stunning red number that made Emma feel powerful. "You're sure about this?" Jennifer asked as they stood in Emma's bedroom the night before the flight. Terrified, Emma admitted. "But yes. I love him, Jen. I really love him. And I almost let fear destroy that. I need to tell him, even if it's too late." "It's not too late," Jennifer said firmly. "Go get him." Emma's flight left Friday evening. She barely slept on the plane, her mind racing through everything she wanted to say to Cole. How did you apologize for pushing away someone who loved you? How did you explain that fear had made you cruel when kindness was all you ever received? She landed in Paris Saturday morning, exhausted and anxious. The gala started at 8 that evening. Emma checked into a tiny hotel near the Louvre, showered, and tried to rest. But sleep wouldn't come. Finally, around 5, she started getting ready. The dress looked even better than she remembered. Emma did her makeup carefully, her hands shaking slightly. What if Cole didn't want to see her? What if he had moved on already? What if she had destroyed something that couldn't be repaired? She pushed the thoughts away. She hadn't come this far to back down now. The new Harrison Grand Paris was magnificent. A restored historic building in the 8th arrondissement, with views of the Eiffel Tower. Emma arrived just after 8. Her heart pounding so hard she felt lightheaded. The ballroom was packed with elegantly dressed guests. Chandeliers glittering overhead, Emma scanned the crowd desperately. Looking for Cole? Then she saw him across the room, devastatingly handsome, in a black tuxedo. He was talking to a group of investors, his expression polite but distant. Emma had never seen him look so tired, so guarded. She started walking toward him, weaving through the crowd. Heads turned as she passed. The red dress did its job, commanding attention. But Emma only had eyes for Cole. He looked up just as she reached him, his eyes widening in shock. "Emma, can we talk?" she asked, her voice barely audible over the music and conversation. "Please." Cole excused himself from the investors, his expression unreadable. He led Emma to a quiet corridor off the main ballroom. When he turned to face her, his eyes were guarded. "Dor, what are you doing here?" he asked. "I came to tell you that I'm sorry," Emma said, the words tumbling out in a rush. "I'm sorry for pushing you away. I'm sorry for starting fights and questioning your motives and treating you like you were, Derek, when you've never been anything but wonderful to me." Cole didn't respond. Just watched her with those storm gray eyes. "I was scared," Emma continued, tears starting to fall. "I was terrified of being hurt again, of losing myself again. So I tried to sabotage us before you could leave me. But Cole, pushing you away, hurt so much worse than any risk of getting hurt would have been." "Emma," Cole's voice was soft, but she couldn't tell what he was feeling. "I love you," she said desperately. "I'm in love with you. You make me braver and stronger and happier than I've ever been. You believe in me when I don't believe in myself. You celebrate my successes and support my dreams. You're kind and patient and wonderful, and I've been an absolute fool." "You flew to Paris," Cole said, something like wonder entering his voice. "You hate flying. I'd fly anywhere for you," Emma replied. "I'd do anything for you. I just hope I'm not too late." Cole stepped closer, reaching up to wipe tears from her cheeks. "You're not too late," he said softly. "Emma, I've been miserable without you. Every day I picked up my phone to call you and had to remind myself to give you space. I've started 100 texts I'd never sent." "Really?" Hope bloomed in Emma's chest. "Really?" Cole cupped her face in both hands. I meant what I said. I love you. All of you, including the scared parts. But I need to know you're in this, Emma. Really in this. Because I can't go through another cycle of you pushing me away every time things get good. I'm in, Emma said firmly. I'm all in. I'll probably still get scared sometimes. I'll probably still need reassurance. But I promise I'll talk to you instead of starting fights. I'll trust you instead of assuming the worst. I'll choose us instead of choosing fear. Cole smiled, that devastating smile that had first caught her attention in a Manhattan lounge months ago. That's all I need to hear. He kissed her then, soft and sweet and full of promise. Around them, the gala continued, but Emma didn't care. She was exactly where she needed to be. When they finally broke apart, Cole kept his forehead pressed against hers. Stay, he whispered. Stay in Paris for a few days. Let me show you the city. Let me take you to little cafes and museums and gardens. Let me prove to you every day that this is real. I don't need proof anymore, Emma said. I trust you. But yes, I'll stay. I'll stay as long as you want me. Forever then, Cole replied. I want you forever, Emma Carter.
Ever, Carter, if ever. Sounds perfect.
Emma agreed. They walked back into the gala together, hand in hand. People stared at Emma in her red dress, but she barely noticed. She only had eyes for Cole, for the future they were building together, for the love that had survived fear and doubt and self-sabotage. Later that night, standing on the balcony of Cole's hotel suite, with the Eiffel Tower sparkling in the distance, Emma marveled at how her life had changed. 6 months ago, she had been trapped in a miserable marriage. Then she made the crazy decision to sit in a stranger's lap, and everything shifted. What are you thinking about? Cole asked, wrapping his arms around her from behind. Glad I am that I was desperate enough to sit on a millionaire's lap, Emma said with a laugh. Best decision you ever made, Cole agreed. Kissing her neck, second best. Emma corrected. The best decision was getting on a plane to Paris to fight for us. I'll accept that, Cole said. Though for the record, I would have come back to you eventually. I couldn't stay away. Good thing I didn't make you wait, Emma replied, turning in his arms to face him. As they kissed under the Paris stars, Emma felt something she hadn't felt in years. She felt whole. Not because Cole completed her, but because she had finally learned to complete herself. She had faced her fears, fought for what she wanted, and chosen love over safety. And that, she thought as Cole held her close, was the real happy ending. Not finding someone to save her, but finding the courage to save herself, and then choosing to build a life with someone who celebrated that strength. The next morning, Emma woke up in Cole's arms, sunlight streaming through the windows. Paris stretched out below them, full of possibility. Good morning, Cole murmured sleepily. Good morning, Emma replied, kissing him softly. So Cole said.